Hello, hello, hello! It's me, GamerOdd1986 here with the top tips for building city worlds, and of course I've got a little bit of a surprise for you. Just a little bit of news right out of the gate, and just a few things to say. This world is, well, that city world I was building, yeah. It's not going to come to fruition, but instead what I will do is I'll complete this little scale model of things. I'll give all these buildings names and I'll kind of show you sort of the general layout, but in this video we're going to be talking about the tips for building cities. Now of course this is a miniature model. It's very miniature, and there's sort of two tips in one here. The first tip I give you is to create a new world and make a mini model. So for example, I've used coal for the roads, I've used quartz for buildings made out of quartz, I've used bricks for brick built things, and sandstone for older buildings, or buildings that have a certain style to them. And you can basically plan everything out. And also the skyscrapers over there, those are representing skyscrapers, those are in stone. Here's the river, a small river that it would be, but everything is sort of scaled down. So one block basically represents pretty much 10 blocks in real life, and real cities, yeah, they represent 10. You're just kind of filling in the bits here. And you can make an actual nice looking scale model, because the models are cool, and besides you can now plan it out. So you can get everything in the right place, and you can refer back to this whenever you need to. So that's tip number 5. Tip number 4 is to kind of build in a certain style. So for example, building in the style of an old factory, you could have a wall made out of bricks, you could have a kind of a chimney with fire and smoke coming out of it for a factory. So I'm just going to build kind of like a 2D rendition of a factory here. Also the chimneys, you need to make sure that they're kind of, one's noticeably taller than the other. And there you go. Sort of a side view. You could have a stone brick roof. So that's the style that you really want for factories. And also it's to build everything in sections. For example, here we have kind of a university area as the main university building. That's a library. There's a technology part of the university. You know, separate the buildings out, make them specialised so it looks as if the university is bigger. It's a little bit of a housing complex with apartments in the city. That's a very good idea. Also have a curved building here. Well, you can't really make curves, but you can make diagonal ones. Skyscrapers are obviously built bigger and taller than the other ones. And here is a sort of a courtyard with some old buildings. It's a hospital, I think that's going to be. It's an industrial area with the piers for boats to come in, and some bridges over there. So you can create like mini models of things, and you know, you can make it look vaguely like what you're going to build, and then you can refer back to this and see what it looks like. Now it's alright building a miniature model, because miniature models kind of look good from the top, as they kind of look like a real city, don't they? They look kind of like a map of the city, but it's a 3D map. You could also give them names as well, if you'd like to plan that out. Tip number 3 involves building things in a certain order. So what I mean by that is building the bigger buildings at start and building the skyscrapers in the exact middle of the city, because that's usually where they're placed in real life cities. There's something called a Burgess model or a Hoyt model, and that's essentially the general urban area plan thing, which basically says in the city centre there's going to be bigger buildings, older ones kind of go around those bigger buildings, then you've got newer ones, then you've got in residential areas, industrial estates and stuff like that. Tip number 2 is to build them in, well, certain directions. For example, here, that's my centre of the city right there, and you've got 4 directions that you can build out. There's more than 4 directions you can build out in diagonal fashion. However, that's a little bit harder in Minecraft. So it's nice to just stick to 4 locations. So we've got a road going around right here, and going out that way, and going out that way, and going out that way. So what you've got to do is basically think ahead, what's going to be at the end of these 4 roads. For example, you could have a big industrial area over to that side, big residential area over to that side. You could have behind here some older buildings, and up there some general buildings. Here's a kind of a stadium. That's a good idea to put in. That's tip number 1, is to add certain things to the city, sort of like staples to the city, I guess, and cliches, because cliches are good. Skyscrapers are a must. How big you're going to build them is entirely up to you, but I would stick to building relatively short ones in terms of height, not like all the way up there, not all the way up there, sort of up there. So this building is going to be up there and whatnot. It's getting dark, so what you need is appropriate city lighting. That's sort of like a bonus tip, appropriate city lighting, so you could have these wonderful little ideas for what are they called? Lampposts. And you could have these ones. These are actually solar powered. These are powered by the moonlight, so you can switch them over to the purple side. So you build them like so. 3 blocks worth of a single dark oak fence. Make sure it's not connected to anything. Build it at the near side of the road. Put a redstone lamp there, connected to the top one, and put a daylight sensor over there, and switch that to purple, and it lights up. So then these ones will come on at night, so that makes it a little bit more realistic that they come on at night and they're not staying on during the day, because if they were on during the day, they'd either be flipped to this side, but if you want them to come out on the night, flip them to the purple side. That's another little tip for you. Also, when you're building rivers, make them quite wide. If you want to separate 2 areas completely, so that's one city, and you could have another city over here, or you could have a completely different area over here, whatever you please. But bigger rivers that separate 2 areas need to be obviously wider, and rivers that separate 2 parts of the city need to be quite short, so they kind of are short in width. You could have canals here, the boats to go down. Just add things in all the time. Make sure you keep thinking about the world. It's incredibly important that you think about the world. Also build ornate fountains. This is supposed to be representing a fountain. You could have statues. You build whatever you like, really. As long as it kind of makes some sort of sense and it's alright for you, then go ahead. Right, that's all for this video. Short one, I know. But those are the tips you need for building a city world, and I'll see you, hopefully, quite soon. See you later.